Something that's always fascinated me is the Olympics. I mean, it's such a cool mega event, and what it actually takes to compete at such a high level. Now, after sifting through tons of data, I finally thought I could answer this question, and to be honest, the results absolutely shocked me. To start with, we have the swim. Now, this plays an integral role in the Olympic distance, which is not always the case in the longer stuff. If you fail to stay within close range of that front pack in the water, you will most likely never catch up, due to race dynamics and the way Olympic triathlon is structured with draft legal cycling. So your swim is of much significance. Now, the paces these guys swim at is pretty spectacular. If we take a look at the Tokyo Olympics, for example, the difference between the fastest and slowest swim was exactly 1 minute, with the average swim pace being 1:12 per 100 metres. If you cannot swim within this range, it really doesn't matter how fast you can bike or run, you're going to be fighting a losing battle for the rest of the day. The swim pedigree is hot and everyone is of a similar standard, which to me highlights an inability to swim this fast will basically prevent you from competing at an Olympic standard in triathlon. Now, onto the bike, and the power these guys push is usually much more surgy than long course Ironman racing, with them putting short, sharp power surges in, for example, accelerating out the bends and pushing hard on certain sections depending on the course. If we look at Matt Hauser in the Tokyo Olympics, he averaged 296 watts, which really isn't very high at all considering it was under an hour. But within this, he did 20 efforts above 400 watts, as you'll see here, with one of them exceeding 1000, so that's just incredible. And during the 56 minutes he was on his bike, 11 minutes 51 seconds of this, which is equivalent to over 20%, was spent at over 485 watts. So clearly, you need to be able to push hard anaerobically and recover without causing mega damage. Again, if we take a look at the Norwegian, Casper Storms, he spent 17 minutes above 450 watts. So simply having high FTP and being able to push constant power is not all that's needed like in long course racing. You need to have a great anaerobic threshold and ability to recover fast. I think this style of racing is much more like World Tour riding, unlike an Ironman, which is basically one long steady state time trial. Key bike workouts will be very specific to this, doing 2 to 3 minute top end intervals for example. Onto the run, and for me this is where it gets pretty mesmerising. At Tokyo there were 16 athletes running sub 31 minutes for 10k, averaging between 258 per kilometre and 306 per k pace, with Christian Blumenfelt I believe knocking the fastest k split of the day at sub 250 per kilometre pace. Now a standalone 10k at these paces is really impressive, but to do this after a fast swim, surge your bike and still have juice in the tank is really good. Although there were 10 guys running in between 34 and 37 minutes, and there was even one runner completing the 10k in 41 minutes, which isn't great at all. For me, the biggest factor though is, can you swim fast? As if you can't, simply you're not making the Olympics. Whereas I think you can afford to be slightly slower in the bike section and run, although the top guys clearly compromise in absolutely nothing and arguably have no weaknesses. As always, if you've enjoyed this insight into what it takes to make the Olympics, let me know, leave a comment, like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one.